All right. Good evening, fellow ramblers, and welcome back to the Ramblestream. This evening, it's inauguration day, the 20th of January 2025, our second stream of the year, the new year. And let me briefly look at the comments here and see. Oh, y'all are good. Thank you. Speak, Dan. Sounds great. Okay, 5 by 5. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate y'all. I do hope that we have better luck with the audio this go round. I have not upgraded or changed the system, but I went back and watched the video a little bit after that, and it was. I think what somebody was saying in the comments that it was something with the compression, it's something with the software or potentially the internet connection. So I do hope that this evening we don't have any of those issues. But regardless, welcome. Thanks for the sound check, and we'll get started. This evening, I figured we'd talk about the Gryffin 450. It's been about almost exactly a year maybe a little bit less than a year, just by a week or two, since we launched the Gryffin 450 to the world, and the first bike was just delivered to its new owner on Friday, Joel, who I see in the comments. So we'll go from there. But if you're new to the stream, this is all about the comments. It's also a little bit about me rambling. But I'd love to hear from, and we would all love to hear from all of you all. If you're viewing this live, you can comment right below the video, and we'd love to see you. So I will go ahead and get started with the formula we follow, at least in the comments. My name is Richard Worsham. I'm founder and designer, lead designer, we'll say. There's lots of designers here at Janus Motorcycles. I am located in Goshen, Indiana. I'm down at the fabrication shop in an old paint booth, and I ride a 2009 Kawasaki KLR 650 and a 2017 or 18, I'm not sure if I can remember, Halcyon 250 number 68. So as you can see from the comments, folks, tell us where you're viewing from, what you ramble with, if it's a Janus, what the serial number is, and then finally, last but not least, tell us what you are sipping on. I am actually sipping on, 1 second here. Very appropriate if you watched the episode from a few weeks back when we had John Wolford on. This is Halcyon Reserve starter, but it's got a big old Halcyon on there, so a fitting beverage for a rambler. Available on their website. Look up Wolford and you can get your own, or go back to a couple of episodes and we had John on talking about his distillery. Cheers to everyone. Ooh. Oh. I usually put water with my whiskey. It brings out the flavor. Very slow pouring. All right. Well, let's take a quick look at some comments on here, and then we can read a poem and talk about the Gryffin 450. First up, we have Argo, who's calling it first. Good to see you, my friend. Tom Lathrop, greetings from Burlington, Wisconsin. Gryffin 250, 149, Halcyon 250, 1008, and he also has a ZX14R, 98 Harley-Davidson Ultra, a 96 Harley-Davidson Lowrider, an 87 Yamaha Virago 535, and he's sipping on seltzer water. Very nice. Cheers, Tom. Friend of the stream, Confed Yank. Howdy from Central North Carolina. 100th anniversary of Harley-Davidson Road King. Sipping some off-brand cola as usual. And the man of the hour, Joel Yanda, Old Man 1, Halcyon 450, number 218, and Gryffin 450, number 001, named Rough and Ready, from Kansas City, drinking black coffee. Well, Joel, we're going to be talking about your bike tonight. So you'll be the man of the hour. He says, my new Gryffin 450 looks fantastic, and thanks to all for your wonderful comments. Absolutely. Absolutely. Grant says, thanks, Joel, for your great taste. Indeed. Eric Green is in with Outlaw, Vancouver, Washington, drinking water. John Garrance is also viewing Southeast Kansas, 69 Harley-Davidson FL, 71 Rokon Trailbreaker. Expecting delivery of Halcyon 450, 356 this week. It's going to be cold. I understand Chad, the delivery driver, picked up from you last Thursday. Yes, he did. It's one of the largest Janus loads in history. I think it was supposed to be 17, but 16 got on the truck. There was we noticed something on one of the bikes that wasn't able to ship, but it will be going out soon. Still a massive load of Janus is leaving. Grant says, John, Chad is driving through some very, very cold temps. Make sure you check that battery voltage when you get it. Fresh gas and check that battery. You're going to love it. Yes, that is something that we do experience sometimes when he's delivering bikes in the bitter, bitter cold. Make sure the battery's charged when it gets to you. That it can really reduce the efficiency of the battery, the cold. John says, Grant, it's cold here too. -1 tonight. I have a lot of things I'll be doing to it before the good riding season gets here. Awesome. Scott Spence, right up the road, Halcyon 250, number 212, and Halcyon 450, number 178, as well as a 1974 Triumph Bonneville, sipping on cheap red wine, as usual. Good to see you, Scott. Charles McGahagan's on. Hello from Maryland Eastern Shore, rambling with Halcyon 250, number 454, Phoenix, number 30, and Gryffin 450, number 4, coming your way soon. John says, Joel Yanda, I'm straight down Highway 69 from you. Maybe sometime this summer we can meet up somewhere in the middle, like the Pleasanton or Lewisburg area. Sounds like some rambling being planned. Very good. Multifarious is on. Good to see you. -4 currently in Nebraska, having a Cherry Coke 0 and wishing that Kingfisher was closer to riding season. Halcyon 250, number 1067. Guess I lol have to go ice fishing to make my mind off of it. Well, if we all know you, Mr. Multifarious, we'll know you'll be right at home with the fish. Gary Smith is on. Hello from East Lansing, Michigan. Halcyon 50, number 11, 250, number 79, 450, number 3, and Phoenix 250, number 79. Having chili on a cold night. Nice. And sipping on Diet Dr. Pepper. Dan Rodemsky from Leicester, North Carolina, 450, number 235, as well as some other bikes. Nice. Last week, it snowed. It finally melted enough that black ice wasn't an issue for almost a day. Then it snowed again last night. North Carolina and a lot of snow is not all that common. I mean, I know you get snow, but if it's like anything like Virginia, it doesn't stick around too long. Joel says, sounds great, John. Let's talk. Awesome. Way to go. Dave Bowen. Greetings from the bright, crispy shores of Seattle. 450, number 41, are hanging out with a dark, chewy beer and are excited to hear all about the new Gryffin. Very good. Good to see you, Dave. Keith's on. 706 in New York. Cheap red wine here, too. Go Buckeyes. Sipping soda water. Dan Rodemsky. Fernando Urrutia. Wonderful. Getting ready for the cold weather arriving tomorrow in Panama City, Florida. Halcyon 250, number 1155, enjoying an apple and cinnamon tea. Very good. Semtech 57. Hey all, John here in windy Rancho Cucamonga with Halcyon 250, number 1148, Casimir, with a trusty 7-Up. Hope y'all are hunkered down. Wonderful. I am definitely hunkered down. It's not warm here either. It seems like I looked at the weather forecast, every 3 hours it drops 1 degree, and it's just been going since like Saturday. Just dropping. This morning at real early it was like 4 degrees, and it's still getting colder. So I'm not actually what is the temperature right now here in Indiana? Scott, our global supply chain director, said that he came down here for the warm weather because it was -18 up in Wisconsin where he is. It's 7 degrees here in balmy Northeast Indiana. Here we go. Sounds good. Thank you all very much for your sound check. I really do appreciate it. Riggedy Alps, good evening from Massachusetts. Hope everyone's staying warm out there. Halcyon 450 number 234, 95th anniversary wide glide, and Be Cool Pathfinder in the clubhouse. Birch beer for me tonight. Be Cool Pathfinder. What is that? Why do I not recognize that? Jansen's on. Hey, Jansen. Good to see you. Roger Landis. Oh, by the way, hey, y'all, if you don't know Jansen, I think I've mentioned him before, but Jansen will be helping out a lot with our social media in the near future and some of our video work. I'm really excited to be to have him involved. So now you know him. Roger Landis, sound is good. Thank you, Roger. Christopher Smith. Hey, Chris. Good evening from Cleveland and enjoying some Four Roses small batch select. Neat. I'll drink some Four Roses neat too. Halcyon 250 number 367. Grant's on 250 number 1. Gryffin 250 number 1. And Phoenix 250 number 001. Goshen, Indiana. Gatorade on ice. Nice. Michael Webster. New Gryffin. 60s vibe. Very cool. Thank you very much, sir. Joel says, thanks to all the Janus team for a great build on my new Gryffin 450. I appreciate all your hard work. Absolutely. We appreciate you and your support of us. It would not be possible without all of you. I know I say that, but it really is true. There's a reason I enjoy doing these ramble streams and hanging out with y'all. It means a lot. Jeff Kelly, 14617, 1968 Honda Water. Jeff, you've been emailing me, and I owe you a response. I've gotten several emails, and you know what? If you're on, let's see if I can answer one of your questions. We'll answer it live on air. I'm not going to everything. He shared an article with me, really, really cool, on the Honda. And then also he asks, this is a good question, what security features does the Halcyon 250 have? What additional locks do you recommend? My 1968 Honda is light, less than 180 pounds. The Halcyon 250 is 250 pounds. It can easily be carried away. Absolutely, you are 100% correct, sir. The 250s are susceptible to theft. Not that we hear a lot about that, but just keep in mind, it's not a big Harley Davidson, which also can be stolen, but a Harley Davidson can't just be picked up and thrown in the back of a pickup truck like a 250 Janus can be. So if you are parking it and you're leaving it, it's a really good idea to either chain it to something or make sure that it's has a disc brake lock. There is a built-in lock on the bike, but it's not going to necessarily be a long-term safety feature. We have the handlebar lock. So you turn the handlebar all the way to the left, push the key in, and then keep turning it, and it will lock the handlebar. It also has a third park function where you click it one more click to the P position, and it will leave the tail light on. Of course, don't do that for very long, but if it's a good kind of emergency, you can leave a light on without draining your battery really quickly because it doesn't leave the headlight on. But my recommendation for security is either to chain. If you're leaving it out, you need to chain it to something, and you don't just use any old chain. Use a bike lock chain that's not going to get cut as easily, like a tempered steel. The other thing that I do when I'm traveling, which is really the only time that I'm going to worry about, leaving it for any experience, like outside of a hotel, leaving it an extended period of time at night, is to use a disc brake lock so that you can either find one that will fit through the holes on your front disc brake, or what I've done in the past is actually drilled out one of the disc brake holes to be larger, and then you can fit I use a motorcycle disc brake lock, and you can buy those with a alarm on them. So if it moves, it makes an absolutely deafening sound, which will scare away most people or at least attract attention. You can find those online. There's a number of different people that make them. The other thing that I highly recommend, and it might be, I've used it on its own without a lock, but do that at your own risk, but is a motorcycle cover. A motorcycle cover serves many functions. It covers the bike from rain if you're, traveling overnight and you stop at a hotel. However, it also prevents people seeing what the bike is. And so it might be a Harley. It might be, you never know, because those big old handlebars kind of cover everything up. And it just prevents people from knowing what's under there. And it's a lot harder to, it adds security to me, I feel like. But I would certainly recommend doing that in conjunction with some other form of lock or alarm. There you go. Kelly, Jeff, Kelly. Michael Webster says turmeric pepper tea. Oh, nice. Barb's on. Hello, Halcyon 450, number 278 here in Oregon, sipping on hot cranberry tea and rocking a fleece hat inside the house as well. Nice. There's Jansen. He says first sip is always the best. Nice. Oh, you're laughing at my cough. Uncle Voodoo waving from Buena Vista, Virginia, with Halcyon 250 numbers 465. Bimble. Make a bracket to mount a roll top tool bag to the left side of the bike. Well, are you talking about the 450? Because the 250, we have the roll top bag available on that. And we are actually in the process of prototyping a 450 version of that. I made the mistake when I designed one and we prototyped it, we had it all mounted, and then I realized that you can't put the rear rack on the 450 with it. So we thought, I want this to be something that works with people with the rack. So we have another one being prototyped right now, and it will be out soon. Very excited. As I've keep teasing you all, there will be a lot more upgrades coming out soon. We have a lot more members of the design team, and we're very excited about that. Greg Goins says, read poetry. No wonder Harley's rule. Read poetry. No wonder Harley's rule. Huh. I will read some poetry. Don't worry. I don't know what you mean. Is that a poem or I don't know what that means. Kurt Weiss is on, joining live for once from Kelowna, Iowa, drinking an Arnold Palmer and wishing I could be out on Halcyon 250, number 487. We got a lot of comments tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and do the poem, and then we'll kind of keep moving with the program, and I'll try and answer questions simultaneously. We're going to go back to my new favorite, this collection of poems by A.E. Stallings called Like. I think this came out in like 2018. He's a new poet, a living poet, not a dead one. Let's see. 2018, yes. Okay, this one I thought was good for rambling because one of the illustrations, it's camping, and one of the illustrations in the Rambler's Companion happens to be a cast iron skillet. No, I won't show it to you. Well, it's on the cover, actually. I might as well show it to you. I'm going to move all my junk here, but right there. One of the illustrations from inside it, but this is about cast iron. It's called Cast Irony. I told you she was good. And very reminiscent of Richard Wilbur. Cast Irony by A.E. Stallings. Who scrubbed this iron skillet in water with surfactant soap, meant to cleanse it, not kill it? But since its black and lustrous skin, despoiled of its enrobing oils, dulled, lets water in, now it is vulnerable and porous, as a hero stripped of his arms before a scornful chorus. It lacks internal consistency, as ancient oral epics, where a Bronze Age warrior might appeal to a boar's tusk helmet-wearing foe, who has an anachronistic heart of steel, will of iron from which metals no one has yet forged a weapon, much less pans or kettles, though there must have been, between two eras, awkward overlap enacted in the kitchen, when mother-in-law and daughter wrangled over the newfangled, over oil and water, in proverbial mistrust, brazen youth subject to iron age, as iron is to rust. There can be no reasoning with sarcastic oxygen, only a reseasoning. Can give the vessel's life new lease, scour off the scab, the color of dried blood, Apply some elbow grease to make it fast. Anoint it. Put it once more in the fire where everything is cast. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So don't use dish soap on your cast iron pots. But who figured that out first in the moment when we shifted from bronze to iron? It's a fun one. All right. We're going to talk about the Gryffin 450, and I'll try and do some poetry comments along the way. So I thought, well, let me actually start this a little differently. We're going to start with talking about Gryffin number 001. And then we will do a little retrospective on the year and the development of the Gryffin and kind of our plan for it. So as you all are aware at this point, we launched the Gryffin 450 in January of 2024. So just a tiny bit less than a year ago. Let's just go ahead and say almost a year ago to the day. And our goal with the Gryffin was to not only do what we did with the Halcyon 450, which was take the Halcyon 250 and scale it up to a larger, more speed capable and comfortable motorcycle. So I don't know if you all have watched the Jay Leno episode on the Halcyon 450 or the Halcyon 250. We actually brought him a Halcyon and a Phoenix. Did we bring him a Gryffin? Maybe we did. I can't remember. But we brought him certainly the Phoenix and the Halcyon, and he rode the Halcyon. And the kind of the comments he made were basically that to distill them down was that he wanted rear suspension and he wanted to go a little faster and have a little more power. And I think in that neck of the woods, being able to hop on and off the highway is pretty invaluable in the Los Angeles area. So he had a good point. And so we kind of mulled that over for a while and started doing our research and really set it with the Halcyon 450 to make a larger, more capable version of the Halcyon that would be able to handle be more at home on highways, or maybe suit people that wanted to go a little bit faster, kind of move into that middleweight category. 500 cc's was kind of our target, 30 horsepower, and be able to go 80 plus miles an hour. That was our design brief. I also wanted an air-cooled engine, and fuel injection was one of the goals we had. So that's what we did with the Halcyon. And so with the Gryffin, our goal was similar, but with the particular kind of parameters of a scrambler. So when we launched it, the goal, or when our thought process was, let's make the Gryffin, which if you're familiar with many of you all in here have a Gryffin 250, which is it's a classic scrambler, which means that it's a sibling to a road-going bike. It's the same chassis, it's the same suspension, but it adds to it high pipe to stay out of the way of debris and obstacles, and knobby tires, and probably wide bars. That's the classic 1940s, 50s scrambler. If you think of Triumphs or any number of the other bikes, the specialization hadn't really set in yet. And so we wanted to be a little more specialized with our Gryffin 450. So we set out to build a bike that would be actually much more dedicated to being a capable off-road bike that could hold up against a modern dual sport. Certainly, our intention was not to make a dirt bike or even a, Super Tenere, or a Yamaha Tenere beating bike. That's not what we do. But we wanted it to be able to hold its own off-road, have some good suspension travel, and be able to fit really good tires, etc. And of course, that 450 motor comes right out of the XR400. So what a great kind of engine for a bike like that. And that's exactly what we did. The background on it is that Charlie actually secretly, he didn't even tell any of us, started working on the Gryffin 450 project in the late fall, early kind of December or so of 2023, and then kind of said, hey guys, I've been working on this. And we said, this is awesome. Let's do it. Let's go as fast as we can. And within a month or two, I mean, maybe it was in a month, he built the first prototype. And that's what we released. That's what we released it with. So I've written a 2-part blog post on the development of the Gryffin 450 and kind of our thought process. It goes into kind of the history of the scrambler and its kind of development all the way up until the present day. Why we chose to go with certain things like paired, twin rear shocks instead of a monoshock. Why we use our leading link front suspension, why we chose why the engine is very fitting for it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to go through all that at the moment, but do check that out on our website under the blog section. You can find that, or you can just Google Janus Gryffin 450, and it probably will show up on our website in your search. So there you have that. But regardless, over the last year, and I will dig into this a little more detail, we have been scrambling, to launch this. Our initial goal was our goal was to have this done in the summer. As you know, especially those of you who have one on pre-order, that did not come to fruition. It took us considerably longer than we anticipated, in part because, to be frank, it was really Charlie doing most of the work on it, and our design team is Charlie and me, and I was very busy doing a lot of other things, and so I wasn't really able to give him as much of a hand as he needed, largely in part because I was doing other things that demanded my attention with just the business in general. However, and the other side of it is that the way that we develop and prototype a motorcycle has dramatically, the expectation level and the standard that we set ourselves has increased considerably since the launch of certainly every single model. It gets more and more developed. And so on the one hand, there were some resource issues. On the other, we really have put a lot more detailed and rigorous testing, prototyping, development, and also tooling that's gone into this motorcycle. We are making the majority of the parts, or we're at least set up to do all the tooling here. Unlike on the Halcyon, which many of the other than the 4 main components are made by our Amish partners, the Gryffin, we make a lot more of those parts in-house. So the kind of end result of that is that we have realized that it's highlighted the need for us to be able to design, research, prototype, tool, and produce these machines faster. Models in general, but also upgrades and options for them. And so that's one of the big reasons that we have really put a lot more of our resources into our design in the last couple of months, as we have been frustrated with the pace of the 450. So all that to say, we really appreciate everyone's patience as we brought this out, and want to assure you that we are actually addressing this in a deep way. Might be a good segue into the other big announcement that we have for you all, which is kind of goes confusing in that sense, but will actually serve the what I'm talking about, and that is that it's sort of poetic. I think, and I did mention that in the update, the live video we did on the Gryffin 450 launch, but we are very sad, but also very proud and supportive that Charlie, our engineer, has moved on. He's gotten a job with a aerospace engineering firm, and right up the road, not too far away. We're really excited for him. We're sorry to see him go and sad to lose him, but we, of course, support his all the awesome stuff he's going to do. I mean, he's an engineer and destined for great things. So we look forward to watching what he does as he moves on. However, on the design end, as I say, we are scaling up our design capabilities. We have promoted from within our own Chase to be our engineer, and we also have brought on Neil, who has moved up from our fabrication shop. We have myself, and we also have Jeff, who all of us are designers. They're all more fabricators than I am. I'm not so much on the fabrication end, but they are all able to not only do design but fabricate, create tooling, and it's real. I'm just very, very excited to double down on what we have realized over the last year is one of the things that we're really good at, which is design and development. We just aren't. We have a lot of room to improve in terms of the rapidity and the ability to execute quickly on all these design projects. We want to focus on allocating the proper resources to that within our organization. So I'm very, very excited. I'm going to just pause here to look at some comments so we don't get too far behind. Scott Spence says, I want one like Joel's. Nice. Yeah. Jeff Hoekstra, hello from Cedar Lake, Indiana, with Halcyon 250 number 63. Number 63. Nice. Also sipping on Wolford Reserve. There we go. Very good. Cheers. Cheers, Jeff. Grant says, I heard Gary retired and now has a lot more time to ride. That's right. I did hear that. Congratulations, Gary. I heard it on the stream last week, actually, now that I'm remembering. James says, Halcyon 250 number 644, coming in late. Just got done shoveling. No drink yet, but a warm cat on my lap. Very nice. Well, get yourself a drink and pull up a chair. Roger says, Halcyon number 18 in Lubbock. Yeah, there we go. We got some low numbers. Confedyank, given the snow in North Carolina, I'm considering just getting ADV and going down to Haiti. I hear it's warm enough to ride. Kyle Stevenson from Fort Wayne, sipping Hell's Lager, XR200R, and CB350 Cafe in the garage. The new Gryffin is amazing. Thank you, Kyle. Riggedy Alps, Be Cool is an e-bike. Oh, nice. I think maybe we talked about that briefly. Jansen says, pumped to be able to help. Absolutely. Grant says, everyone go check out Uncle Voodoo's video on his Fiat and his Halcyon 250. We passed that around the shop. Love the message. Yes, I definitely, if you're listening, Uncle Voodoo, if you're still on here, we really appreciated it. I think it hit the right note, especially the part about the Fiat. I mean, it's exactly captures why people get what we get. So if you haven't seen his video, check it out. Confedyank says, I've been watching Uncle Voodoo's stuff lately. Interesting stuff. Good. Chris, Cleve Moto took in a Honda Dax today. If anyone is searching, small displacement bikes are fun. Nice. I have a lock that holds the brake handle pulled in. Okay, I've seen those. Does that work well? Multifarious, Uncle Voodoo, I'm enjoying your videos. Thanks. Awesome. Jeff Kelly, thank you. Iron Decoit, New York. Iron Decoit, is that how you pronounce that? Grant says one for each side. Jimmy Cruz, listening from Greenville, South Carolina, very interested in the 250. Well, welcome to the Ramblestream. I don't recognize your name on here. If you have any questions, you are talking to the right crowd, so ask away. Either I will answer them or one of the other folks, the Ramblers on the stream. Okay. Well, I want to jump back in and we'll go and I just wanted to do a little retrospective on the Gryffin because let's finish with Gary's comment. He says, for motorcycle parking security, I use a Xena. Yeah, those are really good. XX6304 stainless steel motorcycle disc lock, alarm, smart, phone compatible. Really like it, and it's easy to use. Yeah, those are some of the best, Gary. That's a great recommendation. Okay. I just wanted to go back and look at all the things we've done with the Gryffin. Maybe we might have some little Easter eggs in here. So this is before we launched it. This is the rough prototype. Everybody in the shop super, you can see is gathering around it. Really excited to see this coming together. Rough, just tack welded tank. Obviously, it's not holding any fuel. No foot pegs on it. Just super simple. You can see how the subframe has changed a lot. There it is with a piece of wood for a seat. Starting to see the exhaust coming around, sort of what it was going to look like. Here it is modeled, obviously without a seat, but starting to look more and more like the bike that you all are familiar with. And these are photographs from the launch, which we hadn't even powder coated it yet. And these were from the launch photo shoot and video. You may remember that photo. And there it is. And this is actually, this weekend is winter moto camps happening. And a couple of the guys are going to be going up there. I might be, we'll see. It's going to be really cold. But this is from last year. So literally a year ago this week. And this is before it got muddy. It was a little warmer, and so there was a lot of mud. Early shots of the bike. Looking really good. There it is with its sibling, its younger sibling or older sibling, smaller bike, the Gryffin 250 right next to it. Shares the same tank, almost the same tank. It's a little bit bigger. And there they are together. That's Brent, our fender maker, and Charlie, the designer. Charlie then getting the 450 covered in mud and testing it out. We'll see some more videos of just how brutal Charlie is with the bike and himself. There it is, frozen in the morning with some debris. And then after that one, we kind of refitted it into what we called G00 or goo. And goo is sort of, Kelly went to great lengths for Charlie to have the little drips of paint on goo, the number plate. And there is its iteration as a green bike, which we still have. That's goo. There we are out in Sturgis with the prototype getting test ridden. 68's down there on the corner at the far bottom right-hand corner. And you can't see them, but they're mountain goats up on that. There it is at Full Throttle Saloon outside of Sturgis with a 250 Halcyon. There it is with the, what do they call that? Bear Sur. It's a famous mountain right next to Sturgis, over the handlebars. I was riding at that point. And this is G01, so the second prototype, or really third iteration of the Gryffin, the last prototype we did. Looking gorgeous in maize. And then, of course, the flat track, which is a Gryffin 450 custom frame built by them at the Moto Beach Classic in California later in the year. And here we have the pictures of Joel's bike. So here you go. So he opted for this custom Gryffin logo, which I think might be some of Grant's best work in terms of logo design. It is, because it's not just its own logo. He took a larger logo we did of the Gryffin, and then he just made it really, really classic. I think he was basing this off of a Peugeot logo from the 60s that's on a moped crate that we used to have in the shop. I think that's what, not speaking for you, Grant, but it's great work. And then there's Joel's. He, of course, as I've encouraged all of y'all to do, to name your bike. He didn't just name it. He had the name pinstriped on the back of the number plate. Really cool. So Joel decided to go with Indy, or what do we call it? Milwaukee blue with crimson pinstripe, deluxe polished tank, silver feather logo, brushed exhaust. Of course, we don't do stainless, the polished exhaust. It's this is a one-piece exhaust, and you can't polish the whole thing. So, and the brush just makes more sense for the dual sport anyway. He's got a what do we call it? Bash guard on the bottom, engine guard. He's got crimson pinstripe on the front and rear wheels with the more aggressive Dunlop 605s, single pinstripe on the fenders, rear rack, black leather seat, bark busters with Halcyon 450 on them. Look at that. Yeah, there's the 450 logo or the Gryffin 450 on the bark buster, or corn detasselers. And there's Joel sitting on his bike. There you go, Joel. Your moment, another moment in the spotlight here. And soaking up his new bike. Grant's pointing out some details on the fender with our fire hydrant just in case. So anyway, then I thought I'd just add in some little Easter eggs here at the end. This is the first time we've shown these. Testing in the wild, I will say that no one was injured or any bikes were injured in the making of this video. So don't worry. But here you go. Here's Charlie testing the crash proofness of a Gryffin 450.
On camera.
Too fast on that one.
You're right.
I think I might have fucked my phone up.
Oh.
There you go. All right, and then another one. Let's see if this one will play. A little less violent. And here is a Jordan Lake testing it out. We got a little bit more of a squirrely version of Jordan here. This is where he is riding the bike to the max. Is that it? Oh, we got. I think my other video is not there yet. So anyway, there you have it. I thought I just wanted to kind of review a little bit some of the fun we had with the Gryffin this year, and just review that with y'all. It feels like it's been a really long year. And I know for those of y'all waiting on a Gryffin 450 that it's also been long, but we are at this point, the update is we are in the final stages. We're waiting, almost all the tooling is in. We're waiting on material and some last components to get in. So we are probably weeks to 4 to 5 weeks out from really being able to get into the swing with production. It won't be a whole bunch of bikes all at once, but we will be feeding bikes in to the mix as quickly as we can as the team gets used to the production schedule with a new model line. So if you have any questions at all about your build, if you have a Gryffin 450, send an email to me or the regular Janus number, but Richard at Janus Motorcycles would be happy to give you an update on your bike. And again, this is we're a small operation. But we really, really appreciate your support and your patience. And we're in the home stretch. We're so excited to be able to start delivering these. And I'm just excited to start seeing the different color schemes come out. I really liked the maize color, and obviously Joel knocked it out of the park with his build. But I'm really looking forward to seeing some different combos, different pinstripe options, and different options and upgrades as we come out with them. So thanks again to all of y'all who make that possible. Let's see what other comments we got here. We got Confetti. I think he means because HDs cannot be so easily picked up. Got it. I understand the comment now. That was in regards to I can't find the comment now, but anyway, an earlier comment on the stream. I know the bolts, etc., on the motor of the Halcyon 450 are metric, but what percentage of the rest of the bike is metric SAE? Great question. Almost everything on all Janus bikes is metric. That's because the motor, we want everything to be across the board metric. There are some very one-off pieces that are not, like the thread pitch of your fuel cap, for example, is standard. man, it's just like that might they're every far and few between, and they're not things that you're going to need tools for on a regular basis. When I carry tools that would fix a bike in just about any situation, I do not have any SAE tools. So other than my Nipex, which are actually SAE and metric. Okay. Uncle Voodoo says, multifarious, thank you. Grant Longabaugh, yes. To mount one bag on each side. Yes, got it. Duke Berryman, did Jay Leno buy a Janus? He did not buy a Janus. I think he has a lot of other bikes. He has 23 or 20. He has over 20 Rough Superiors. So, and I don't think his motorcycle days are really, I think his motorcycle days may be over to some extent. He's had some accidents related to motorcycles, and he's getting older. So I keep sending him emails to get us back on the show, but we'll see. Jason 412, Halcyon 250 and Halcyon 450. Do you recommend any campgrounds close by? Planning for the Janus rally in September. We don't have a whole lot of campgrounds. We do have a KOA up near, where is that? Straight up 15. I can never get 15 up that road, or if it's up north of on 13. It's with it at like a 10, 15-minute ride. KOA campground that I would recommend. That's probably the main campground locally. He says, also plan on getting the Gryffin 250 this summer. Test rode your prototype. The Gryffin 250 felt to me to be the better woods bike. Yeah, it's interesting. You get different responses just because the 250 is so light. A lot of our Janus employees really enjoy that bike. The 450 is certainly more powerful, better suspension, tires, etc. But for just kind of hopping on and run, trail riding, the 250 is a good option. Doesn't have the suspension and the tire availabiliady, but it's a fun bike off road, as many of you all will agree. And Tom on this Lathrop here on the stream. Tom, I should have you on the Ramblestream. I'd love to at least feature your Gryffin. Tom has rigged a 21-inch, is it a 19? He's rigged a bigger front tire on his Gryffin, which makes he has a lot more tire options. Reed Alp says, Jason, I hope you enjoy the rally as much as I did this past year. So glad I made the trek. Well, we hope to have you back, Riggedy. Dan says that 450-001 is gorgeous. Yes, it is. Joel did a great job. Riggedy Alps, thank you. Me and Mrs. looking forward to it. Good. Well, I'm looking forward to having y'all. Tom Lathrop says, brake lock works great and easy on, easy off if you have the key. Awesome. Still could be picked up, but same with the disc lock. Rev Free Moto. So sorry, just rambling in. I'm Jonathan from Fluvanna County, Virginia. That's right. And as we talked about last time, that's where my folks have a home in Kent Store. Awaiting Halcyon 450 number 341, and also have a Lowrider ST. Just starting part 2 of Rambler's Companion. Great. Well, if you're ever in need of fresh milk or chicken, probably mainly milk at the moment, there's a Worsham farm not far from you. So send me an email and I'll give you details. Swallow Barn Farm. You can also look them up. That's my brother's farm. Not far from you. Confed Yank. I'll be down in Greenville soon. Neil's on late to the show. Goshen, Indiana. He was just in here working on his little trailer he's taken up to Winter Moto Camp this weekend. If you didn't know, Neil is one of our designers here and also a fabrication hand. So Neil says, you better come to Moto Camp. Well, I'm thinking about it. I've also got to go I'm going out to AIM Expo, which is a big motorcycle expo out in Las Vegas the week after next. Is it the week after? Maybe I have 2 weeks. And there's the one motorcycle show in Las Vegas that same weekend. So I'm having to time what I do on the weekends, but maybe I'll do it. It does sound like fun. Tom says, photo of tank mounting looks like government work. 2 people working the entire shop, standing around supervising. Yeah, it kind of was. Put the peer pressure on, Neil. Yeah, there we go. Neil says, you can join too, Grant. There you go, Grant. He's putting the pressure on you too. Come on, you got a Gryffin. Let's see you up there. Peugeot. Okay, it's Peugeot. Great. So that's the Gryffin logo. What is Peugeot? Great. Well, I love that logo, Grant. Charles says, any updates on plans for the flat track team's future? Yes, we will have more updates soon. We're working at the details right now. Thank you. Bear Butte. Thank you. That's the mountain next to Buffalo Chip Campground in Sturgis that I showed over the handlebar of the Gryffin. Multifarious, is the 450 Gryffin seat leather? The 250 is vinyl, right? No, it is not leather. And we specifically chose it because for that application, the vinyl is going to be a much better option for getting muddy and dirty and all that stuff. So we're going to stick with the vinyl covering for that. Yes, it is. 250 is vinyl for a reason. Vinyl, yep. Gary says, what will be your new production build mix for each bike line per month? That is a fantastic question. I was just creating VINs this afternoon, or not assigning VINs, and this was the first, Grant just told me today, this was the first 30-day period in Janus history where 450 sales outdid 250 sales. So we sold more Halcyon 450s than Halcyon 250s, which is not normal. Normally we sell more, but probably 16 250s. Our goal would be like 4 250s, 4 450s. And it won't be all Gryffin 450s to start with. It will be probably, we'll try and work one in. Yeah, something along those lines. The Gryffin 250 is also taking off. It's getting more popular. More people are actually buying those. So it's great. But yeah, I think it was like 16 250 Halcyons, 16 450 Halcyons, 16 a month, 13 Halcyon 250s, 3 Gryffin 250s, and something similar with and 16 450s, and we'll try and work in the Gryphons as fast as we can. Gryffin 450s, that is. But it's always changing. We have to kind of predict ahead of time what we think it's going to be based on the most recent data. Old School. Okay, I just saw. Great. Good to see you. Good to see you, Old School. Fernandez says, it's amazing to see the Janus brand expand in good footing in the motorcycle industry. Thank you so much. Confediank. Oh, I found interesting use of Gryphons reaching remote villages in Haiti. He has an Orange County crapper. Who has that? Not me yet. But we will be on Orange County Choppers Reborn with Paul Tuttle Sr. soon. It was supposed to come out next month, but my episode with Paul Tuttle is supposed to come out soon. Neil says, for camping near Goshen, check out KOA. Yeah, in Middlebury, or EB Pines, also another one in Middlebury. Thank you, Neil. Very good. KOA was the one I was thinking, but the Middlebury EB Pines is also a campground. I always forget that one. Michael Webster, Shipshawana, plenty of motels. Nice. Scott Spence says, Penton Green with a silver frame would be excellent. Yes. So he's talking about the color scheme. Give it Penton Green. So, yeah. Scott Spence is a Penton rider and gifted. I always have to show this off. Gifted us this from his early motorcycle riding days. Look at that. That's a vintage Penton jersey. Built for champions. Straight from Scott Spence. Awesome stuff. Tom Lathrop, 19-inch front wheel that bolted up using stock disc and stock spacers. Incredible. Fantastic. So there you go, folks. It's a good-looking bike, and I expected and not expected. So it may be more unique-looking Gryffin 450s in near future. Hint to multifarious. Nice. Jeff Karen, just a hello from Tampa with Halcyon 761, which unfortunately still is down. Well, I see some flurry of messages on service to-dos on your bike. So stay in touch. We'll get you back on the road, Jeff. Thanks for your patience. I know you ride your bike a lot. And it was good talking to you real briefly last week. Rev Free Moto, appreciate you, Richard. Thank you so much. Old School says, my 250 seat is all leather as my saddlebags made by old world Amish craftsmen in late lake effect snow, bitter cold. Go Bills. Awesome. Awesome. Well, good to see you, Old School. Jay Leno, I met. I got you. Jeff Caron says, I'm wearing my Janus sweatshirt. Well, there you go, folks. I've got it almost. We got 2.5 minutes left. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening for another Ramble stream. It's been a pleasure. We'll have more on the Gryffin in the coming weeks. We'll have more on upgrades and options. And there was one other question. Oh, and on the flat track bike. I hope to have some more updates on that. We've got big plans. So thank you all very, very much. Tom, maybe send me some pictures. I think I already got some through Charlie of your bike, but we'd love to have you on the Ramble stream as well to talk over what you did if you're willing. So there we go. On time, impressive. Thank you. Thank you, Confetti Yank. Thank you. All right, folks. It's been fun. I hope the sound was better this week. I have put in a request for some better equipment. So maybe we will, and also maybe a better spot. I know my desk is very picturesque. And as someone said last time, what do they say? It's the homegrown quality that they find appealing. But I don't know. It'd be nice to have a decent production quality. So we'll see. All right. Thank you all. Bye, Joel. Your bike looks amazing. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you. Yeah, we'll be back next week. And if I go to Winter Moto Camp, I'll have plenty of pictures. So see y'all then. Bye-bye.